Hey, before you watch this, please hit the subscribe button.
Green Bay Packers at the Denver Broncos, Sunday, 4:25. Super Bowl rematch. It's Brett Favre. It's John Elway.
Yeah.
It's just where my mind, when I see matchups that are Super Bowl.
A couple of guys the Colts called this week.
That's right. Was Elway not available? Oh, man, Favre could definitely play. You're right. He could chuck it. Favre would fire four touchdowns and 8 picks.
I would bet Favre has a better arm than Rivers right now. If you line them up and did the old school quarterback challenge thing, I bet Favre can throw it harder than Philip Rivers can. Right now.
I agree. Yeah. And Rivers had a good arm.
Yeah,
it's
fine.
Yeah,
right.
Favre's never went away.
No.
Green Bay's favored by 2.5 here. The 9-3-1 Packers, the 11-2 Denver Broncos. At this very moment, it is a battle of the number 1 seed in the AFC, the Broncos, and the number 2 seed in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers. So seeding is on the line here for the Broncos and Packers.
Yeah, absolutely. Denver's interesting because are they the most one-sided of these sort of contending teams in terms of it's all defense and then just like whether Bo Nix can get out of his own way for a few plays and put enough points on the board to escape with a win? That defense is so good. What effect will that have against Green Bay? Green Bay's offensive line is not as good this year as it's been in previous years, and I don't know if that always shows up, but against a team like Denver, it feels like it could. On the other hand, Jordan Love is absolutely in his bag right now, just dropping fadeaway dimes 50 yards down the field to Christian Watson no matter what happens. So, can Denver's pass rush really get after him and force a couple of mistakes that he hasn't been having recently? Yeah,
there's definitely a bit of that. I mean, I've got a Bo Nix / Broncos stat here, depending on if you're a QB wins believer or not. I think I love people debating that all the time. I think it's directionally good, certainly over time. Like any stat in small samples, it's not. But I was actually looking up the Dolphins. I was trying to temper some of the Dolphins hype, which we'll talk about in 3 hours, the other day, looking up Tua in Mike McDaniel's Dolphins against winning and losing teams. And I stumbled upon this one. Bo Nix and the Broncos. Bo Nix as the starting quarterback for the Broncos. Against teams with losing records, they're 17-0, the Broncos. It's best in NFL history. 17-0. They're 4-9 against teams with winning records. So obviously there's a pretty big disparity, but 4-9 against teams with winning records, that's not an atrocious record because those teams have winning records. Everybody's below that. But it just stood out to me that Denver was beating up on the bad teams the last couple of years. And look, I know they beat Kansas City a couple weeks ago, but that goes in the losing record bucket, right? So this
is another team that can't.
So this is fluid, right?
Games.
If Kansas City wins, I think Kansas City ends up with a winning. They might end up with a winning record, so that flips, right? So this is fluid, and I'm not saying the Broncos can't beat good teams. It was funny that it stood out to me. That one. The other one to keep an eye on.
They're another team, though, that's just calibrated for these one-score games. But that's partly because, that offense doesn't ever catch fire outside of a quarter here or there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think the offense is great from start to finish, but I think they're good enough to go on the run, right? And there was a point where Brady and Mahomes weren't winning every single Super Bowl, and quarterbacks who got hot and offenses who got hot went on runs. And I think the Broncos are certainly capable of doing that.
They're also good enough to make just enough plays that with that defense, they don't need to be very good.
I agree.
They can be good for a quarter. They can be good for, a few minutes here or there. They can be good for a big play, every now and again because that defense is so incredible. The offense is good enough that they can win one-score games, which is generally what's been happening.
So third down, keep an eye on third down. You've got Jordan Love, who I think is playing fantastic football right now. And so much of Jordan Love's game feels like, hey, it's third and long. I'm going to make a big-time throw. It is very similar to that 2023 stretch where he was outstanding in the second half of the season. He's in the middle of it. He's number 2 in PFF grade, number 1 in EPA per play, and the Packers are the number 1 team on third down, just overall third down conversion rate. They're over 50%. Going up against this Denver Broncos defense, which is number 1 in third down defense. So when we wake up Monday morning, as I always say, I never go back and check if I'm right on this. Wake up Monday morning, if the Packers win this game, we're probably going to look back and say, 3rd and 11, unbelievable conversion from Jordan Love. Here, 3 or 4 of those plays where he overcomes this Denver pass rush, the great secondary that they have, and is able to make some big-time throws. If Denver's able to make those stops, I think they have a chance to pull essentially the upset, right? They're 2.5-point underdogs here.
Yeah, I think 3 of his last 4 games, Jordan Love, he's got a PFF passing grade of 90 plus.
Yeah,
which is like it's hard to do.
I tried to put that into perspective before, right? Like if people follow PFF grades, a 90 for the season it's like a cumulative effect, right? So there's always a couple quarterbacks in and around 90, but a 90 game grade is, because it's a smaller sample size, it's really difficult to achieve a 90, right? So essentially, if you put together a whole bunch of 75s and 80s, that'll probably land at a 90 for the season. But a 90 game grade is pristine, outstanding. Like it's really good. And you might get 1 or 2 a season for most quarterbacks. Love, and so this reminds me of what I used to say about Stafford, where 3 or 4 games a year, Stafford was top 3 quarterback in the NFL. And I know the cumulative effect for Love is there right now using various data points, but his high end is as good as any quarterback in the league right now.
I mean, the last month or so, it feels like that version of his play that we saw in 2023, the second half of that season, where not only was he just playing really well, but it was like freaky levels of well, like absolute pinpoint precision passes, not just finding a guy in the back of the end zone, but finding him high and away from the coverage where only his guy
can catch it. The Watson pass, against Kansas City,
it felt like he just not only was just playing better, but had just a completely different switch had flipped that sent him into like laser accuracy mode. And then we haven't really seen that guy since, except the last month. I would say he's been there. Like he's been in that mode again for the last month or so.
The one other thing I would just keep an eye on here, I think, so Denver, they played Washington a couple weeks ago. Washington did a pretty nice job against that Denver defense.
Yeah.
The way Josh, and they ran the ball, they got rid of the ball quickly. So that's going to be the balance. Like Love likes to hold it, sit at the top of the pocket, fade away, make those big-time throws. But can they figure out how to get rid of it quickly, still mix in some of those throws? But the way Josh Jacobs ran down the stretch against Chicago last week too, that's how you face this Broncos defense. If you can power run against them and not get into too many 3rd and longs, I think Jacobs could be huge in this game for the Packers. And I would just say Denver's pass rush hasn't been as good down to down over these last 2 or 3 weeks here. Just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it down the stretch. Still love them. Still ranked them as the number 2 defense in the league yesterday on our defense show. But just keep an eye on that.
The Washington game was interesting because it showed a vulnerability that I don't think had necessarily been apparent before. I mean, that was a team that you wouldn't have thought was going to have any kind of success against that Denver defense, regardless of which quarterback was out there. And actually, they were able to really quite simply move the ball on them.
All right, here we go. Ready to make a pick? Anything else on this game?
No.
I love it. No, there's a lot of weather games this week.
Yeah, this is not one of them, though.
This is not one of them.
This might be in Denver.
High of 59, low of 35. Nothing crazy. It's a jam-packed 425 window, by the way. Jam-packed window, 425. Should be a good one. Potential Super Bowl preview. And another test for Bo Nix to step up.
Yeah.
Crunch time. Make some big throws here.
Will he be Bo Nix
against a very difficult Green Bay defense? Let's see it. Green Bay by 2.5. Where are you going to go?
Bo Nix or Fo Nix?
Don't do it.
I'm going to go Denver.
Denver, huh?
Yep.
Everybody thinks you're a Denver hater and a Packer hater.
Everybody
which is good. With just everybody here. I'm going Green Bay. I'll take Green Bay to win and cover on the road. By the way, as I said, it's Broncos and Patriots both tied at 11-2. They're both 2 games up on a bunch of 9-4 teams, namely the Jags, who are sitting atop the AFC South. So there's a little bit of leeway for those for the 1 and 2 seeds, but there's a lot on the line here for Denver and the Patriots.
They clinch? We got clinching scenarios?
Do we have?
You got to be close, right?
The division. So they're 2 games up on the Chargers. So I don't think they can clinch. I mean, if the Chargers lose, they might. If the Chargers lose and the Broncos win.
Denver clinches a playoff berth, which I
don't care about playoff berths. I don't care. I don't care if the number 1 seed at 11-2 in Week 15 clinches a playoff berth.
No, they don't. They can't clinch the division. The Patriots
care about
can.
divisions.
The Patriots can. The Broncos can't this week.
Yeah,
as
because
far
the
as I'm
Patriots are
aware.
playing the number 2 team, the Bills. So yeah, I don't care about playoff clinching at this point for the for the team with the best record in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
All right,
That's where I am.
fine. It's fine.
I care about the division though. That matters. So I'm taking Green Bay. Harry's taking Green Bay. You're taking Denver here.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.